Or you can take the path of faith and reflection and consideration and say, it seems really hard. I'm preparing to become a teacher in Texas to become a teacher in biology in Texas. And I'm reviewing my biology I took at university. When I started biology in 1982, so it was like, when I first became Muslim, so it was like, about 28 years ago. I took that freshman biology course, and I got this book now from University of Houston, and I'm reading freshman year 1 biology to review it. And just reading it, reading about issues of proteins and how enzymes are formed from a primary, tertiary, primary, secondary, tertiary, and quaternary alignment of, you've got these various amino acids, and then they're sequenced out, and then they fold in on themselves. On that molecular level, the complexity of it all is amazing. So on that level, on that larger cosmic level, it's like, wow. And then to think that I have consciousness. Because this is something where the human being is given a karam, an honor. And this is then what Fakhri Razi says secondly. After you acknowledge that you came from non-existence, then you must acknowledge in ni'mah that not only do you have existence, but you have qualities which are uniquely godly. I have speech. And kalam, the sifat of kalam, is a divine quality of the 8 attributes that you should know about. The foundational attributes. Now Allah is qa'im bi nafsihi, and He's mukhalif hawadith, He is self-subsisting and different than created things. But there are things you can understand about Him. He has vision. He is sami and basir. He has hearing and vision, but not like ours. And you have those qualities, but so do insects have those qualities, and so do birds. They have vision and hearing, but not everything in creation has the aspect of speech or complicated speech. Or, even more important to a degree, is will. Or this capacity. Now, I studied entomology. And in entomology, which is studied insects, by the way. If you enter on your home, there's a wasp that make nests out of mud. The mud dauber wasps and their powder wasps. You can actually identify each species of these wasps that use mud to make their nests just without seeing the wasp. You can look at the nest and say, it's this species. Because each species, in its fitra, in its state of ilham, as it's been inspired by Allah, will create in each generation the same type of mud nest. And you can identify it. You can even identify the types of spiders that might collect. Because certain species only go for certain types of spiders. And you put that information together, you say, oh, it's this species of wasp. Though I've not seen the wasp. You've seen its effects, but you haven't seen it. But if I was to go and get some clay and say, oh, we're going to make some pots today in this room, we would have as number of pots as there are number of people here. Because each of you would use your quality of takween and your free will, your irada and your capacity to manipulate and create things, and you would make it uniquely based upon your perception of what you want that pot to be at that moment. That capacity to do that individually is something reflective of the divine nature. And my Shaykh said to me once, we were in the car, he said, Naeem, if you want to understand Allah, understand your ruh. Because your ruh is la makani, it's without location. When you can start understanding that aspect of your ruh, it'll start giving you indications of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I mean, and what I might say like this is that you have a lot of interesting indications you were told today that there are signs of Allah in the horizons, and in yourselves. And this is one of the ways you can understand these signs. And so, we're this amazingly, it's this amazingly gifted vessel. A vessel, though, which does not create la'aban in amusement or lahun in something which is just frivolous and in amusement, but with purpose. I've been asking, one of the things I'm asked by people is, why do people go to hell forever? How can a merciful, loving God put people in hell forever? I hear that a lot from non-Muslims, from Muslims. Well, that's Allah's will. What could you do? What amal could you do that would put you in hell forever? Doesn't His mercy encompass all things? Didn't the Prophet himself say that not one of you will enter paradise by his deeds, but by the mercy of Allah? لَنْ يَنْجُوَ أَحَدُكُمْ عَمَالُهُ or لَمْ يُنْجِيَ أَحَدُكُمْ عَمَالُهُ. Not one of you is saved by his deeds. And Ibn Rajab does a whole commentary on that hadith. So what is it that puts you in hell forever? What deed can you do? Shirk. Well, if you start thinking what shirk is, it's like a breach of a covenant. And we had this idea of covenant before. Allah Rabbukum qalu bala, am I not your Lord? And we affirmed that with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And qalu, they said bala, indeed. But I'll give you something to think about. It's not a complicated thing. It's what Fakhr Razi is indicating there. When he talks about this discussion on Ihdina Sirat Mustaqim, Sirat al-An'amta alayhim. When he says that it is, our word like this, it's the divine investment He's given you. What has Allah invested within you? What has He invested? What He has invested in you is that you become a madhar, a place of reflection, of manifestation, of reflections, dhilal, of divine attributes. And those attributes are eternal. One of the concepts when the Sufis talk about fanatullah is, according to Ahmad Sirhindi, and this is discussed amongst the Naqshbandiyin, is it's to return to the ism, the name, which is Yuta'in Awal, the name by which Allah creates you by. That we all have relationships with divine names, and the divine names in the sense that they become, in a shadowy way, the source of origination of creation. So in a sense, when you have fana fillah, you have a fana, a relationship with that name by which you are created by. And to give you an understanding of how that can be understood is the Hadith Qudsi, which is authentic. Ana Allah wa ana Rahman wa khalaqtu Rahim wa shakartu laha min ismi. I am Allah and I am the Rahman and I created the womb, the Rahim, which we heard yesterday, Shaykh Naeem talking about this idea of wombishness. And he may not use the word wombishness, but he mentioned the womb and mercy surrounding us. That's a very important concept to keep in mind. I am Allah and I am the Rahman, and I created the womb, the Rahim, and I derived it from my name. So the womb, which every woman, which defines her femininity as a vessel of nurturing, is created by the name of Rahman. And so we all have this relationship with divine names and attributes. And there's this divine investiture in that. And those divine names are eternal. They are the same and not the same as the essence of that. And since that's the case, our origin in a way is with that eternal relationship through those names. And once that investiture by Allah is made, that investiture stays. Because the value isn't the value per se of the creature, it's the value of the Creator Himself placing that value there by that investment through the divine names and attributes. And when you are a creature that has been exposed back to your source, your shirk and kufr is denying the source of your origin.